Earlier this week, President Clinton passed the Goals 2000 Educate America Act. This act will virtually change the way students are taught and educate them on a greater level. For the first time ever, there is going to be an expected outcome on the knowledge of students at the end of each academic year. Although this is a new concept, Clinton defends it, stating, "Standards define the goal of what every child should know and be able to do. They provide the target on which all other efforts and structures should be focused." The hope is that the implementation of these new standards will increase the quality of learning and a greater overall educational standard of our nation. However, with these new standards comes the demand for teachers who are familiar with these principles and qualified enough to get their students to the necessary academic level by the end of the school year. The most important factor in successful reform is the presence of a strong professional community in which teachers pursue a clear shared purpose for student learning, engage in collaborative work, and take collective responsibility for student learning, says the Progress of Education Reform. In an effort to make sure their teachers are as qualified as necessary, some states are holding technological training centers for teachers as we approach the age of technology. States are also looking into stronger teacher licensing and recertification courses. The change in education starts with the teachers, after all. Clinton is giving states education grants to pay for teacher certification, better learning materials and facilities, and whatever else deemed necessary to improve the classroom experience. Some states are even using the money to hold information nights for parents so that they can get involved as well as help their children with homework and assignments at home. The National Center on Education and the Economy's president, Mark Tucker, adds, "When everyone needed to reach high levels for the first time in American history, we discovered that we had never come to any consensus on what the students needed to achieve." That being said, President Clinton is asking each state to create a set of standards and values which they will require teachers and school districts to follow. These standards will be seen by students on performance tests to monitor what they have learned and how they are able to apply that knowledge. States are creating their own performance tests, however, the nation will also require performance testing for all students at the end of 4th and 8th grade. Overall, this change in the education system is going to better the quality of education on an individual as well as nationwide level. Having certain criteria that needs to be met gives students a goal of what they need to achieve, and seeing the end result at the end of the school year will encourage them to want to learn again the following year. It is important to have a baseline for all schools so that students can be ranked upon equal standards, as well as the quality of the teachers and school systems. Clinton's ultimate hope is by the year 2000, the high school graduation rate will be up to 90%, and students will be able to say they conquered challenging subject material.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about teachers' power and what kind of power they have. Their main power that they do have is control of our grades. Other than that, they really don't have that much power, I feel like. They can't really do anything to us students if we were to rebel back, create chaos in the classroom. There's nothing they can really do. Their power have no control over us. There's nothing they can do other than lower our grades. But what they do have in the classroom is authority. Because for being a teacher, that's the authority. Because the teacher can tell us to do something, and we most likely would do it. But what about the certain student that just doesn't listen to the teacher? What can the teacher do? Well, teacher can gain more authority by first showing that they care. I guess that's the best way, because from my own personal experience, I have realized that when a teacher shows that they care about the students, we students can feel that, and that just makes things work. Okay, another way they could gain authority or get more authority is by rewarding us. Rewarding us if we were to pass a test, a really hard test, like the whole class were to pass a whole test. You think rewards by giving us a pizza party, giving us a day off with no homework. That just make the teacher more likable. And there's a rule that say that we prefer to say yes to requests of someone that we know and like. And by all this way that teacher is doing, by rewarding us, showing us that they care, that just makes them more likable. And with them being more likable, we will tend to say yes to them. And that's how I guess they can gain more authority. So authority and power. That's the two main things that teachers really have inside the classroom.
Good morning. In the recent years, there has been a shift in the administrative styles of running a school. More and more schools have been hiring new principals and administrators from outside and putting them inside this position of power. This has led to an increase of managers inside the school building and less active leaders. The difference between the two is crucial to understand. Leaders are people who know the material and the inner workings of the school, as well as how to motivate, inspire, and improve upon the finer qualities of education. A good leader will have a command of the knowledge needed to run a school and will work together with their employees to form a productive team. Whereas managers are more focused on the school as a business, and as such tend to be more removed from the inner workings of the school as an established center of learning. Managers view the school as a business first, meaning they are more concerned with the financial aspects instead of the teaching element. And as such, they make demands of their employees instead of working together with them. This shift can hold dangerous consequences, which may result in a weaker school system where business comes first and students come second.
Hi, I'm Callum, and I'm here to tell you that there is a constant debate about where the budget for a school's spending should go. The arguments for why some department should receive more or less money from the budget are often extensive and overwhelming. When there are budget cuts, anything and everything goes, excluding core subjects, if it can be helped. The first things administration looks to slim down are extracurricular activities, excess faculty, and then music and arts. With the recent introduction of the smartboard, an interactive whiteboard, some schools feel obligated to jump on the bandwagon and integrate smartboards into their classrooms. Some of these schools are also cutting things for their budget. The debate that has arisen is whether to upgrade technologies or minimize cuts by staying with older technologies. Some people vote against the budget because they feel money is going towards these smartboards is a waste, and others believe it is necessary. When the cost of putting a smartboard in just some classrooms in a small school can reach tens of thousands, certain groups of people rise up in arms when at the same school a low-cost sport is being cut. Another question that arises after the decision has been made to cut a sport is which sport to cut. Although the most popular sport worldwide is soccer, usually in the United States soccer is first to go because it competes with football. However, at some schools soccer is chosen over football, and as a result the football team is dissolved.
The 90s appeared as a decade with much to prove. Being noted as the decade of disaster, the time period between 1990 and 2000 saw horrible events and craved change. The economic recession of this period, both at home and overseas, left the government and the business leaders of America looking towards public school systems to take responsibility in the blame game. Looking further into the domestic front end, education, health care, and Social Security reform were some of the prominent issues of this time. Parents, business leaders, and politicians stepped up to the educational plate and demanded more from their system. Higher test scores were imperative, responsible endeavors were wanted, and the discharge of ineffective teachers in classrooms across the country was now necessary. Basic understandings and principles were inherited and have helped construct the institution of education we now know today. Such characteristics have transformed into benchmarks we can measure and value. Learning, basic mathematics skills, the ability to work in groups, and making oral and written presentations, and also the ability to use versatile programs like word processing. Things like these enhances the overall ability to be more conventional in today's society. Schools mandated it vital for teachers to further their education by learning new techniques, creating different methods, and testing students on their knowledge. They did this by engaging their students and enticing their energy and attention daily. The purpose of schools in this period was to create an environment susceptible to the development of teachers and students as well. It was also to engage teachers in thinking through a different mind frame and to work alongside students to raise to this challenge that parents, political leaders, and the school systems have now set up.
Good morning. My name is Chris Wilf, and our topic today is America's global rank in education. As recently as 1985, America was among the leading nations in education, but that is not the case today. In 1989, President Bush announced America 2000, which was an educational reform plan to accomplish 6 national goals over the course of 9 years. The 4 main goals were better and more accountable schools, a new generation of American schools, a nation of students, and communities where learning can happen. In order to obtain these goals, states must adopt outcome-based education, where committees are formed to judge whether students know required content and can apply them to real-life tasks. The downside of outcome-based education is that it is not cost-efficient. As a nation, we spent 33% more in the 1990s per public school student than we did in the 1980s. We spent just as much money as any of our international competitors, but we rank among the bottom of our international economic competitors as far as educational ranking. Growing concerns about our subpar student performance will play a major role in the new millennium. The goal is to close the skill to knowledge gap and to get American education back among the world leaders. Thank you.